it was so cool to actually put something in an empty shop.
Yeah, I wish maybe there's some sort of seed funder or City of Kitchener person listening to this episode when your name is featured in the title. Welcome back to fksalad. I'm here today with my friend Trish.
Hi.
And I don't even know where to begin. Maybe we should start with some food because I'm starving.
Yeah.
I don't know why I buckled up.
I did too, it was just instinct.
I wasn't gonna... Oh, look at that. Okay, so we went to Cafe Paris, or at least I did. Trish stayed in the car, and we got some quesadillas. And if you don't know Cafe Paris, that might be the most famous vegan spot in Kitchener-Waterloo.
Yeah, I would say so.
Famous or well known, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Would you like to try a bite?
Yeah.
Definitely.
I love this quesadilla so much.
I don't know why I offered you a bite before myself. I'm starving.
Oh, then
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That must be nice.
It's black bean.
Actually, that can be all yours if you like.
I just took it.
Here, let me give you a little plate. So look at that. Yeah, black bean quesadilla.
Thanks.
Do you eat at Paris often?
Quite a bit. They have this, like, their shakes are really good.
Yeah.
Never tried their burgers. I'm not a big fan of tempeh, so I usually stay away from tempeh stuff, which is a lot of their stuff on the menu. But burritos are good. This quesadilla is like unreal.
Do you dabble into eating vegan vegetarian?
Yeah, so I wouldn't consider myself vegan, but I love trying vegan food because it's just like creative like food substitutes, and I'm like always intrigued by it. But yeah, my favorite burger in town, like, it's vegan, even though I'm not vegan.
And that's from?
Jane Bond.
Jane Bond, another one.
Jane Bond is so good. I would say Jane Bond is like the biggest vegan spot in Waterloo, Cafe Paris in Kitchener.
And what's the one thing that you have a relationship with both of these?
Oh!
Isn't that kind of funny? That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Hyping up all these places that she's displayed her work in.
Okay, that was unplanned.
No, I'm kidding. I was leading up to that one. I was excited to just throw that on you.
Yeah, Cafe Paris was like one of the first places I displayed artwork. And it was like up there for 2 months, and I sold 3 paintings through them.
Amazing.
To like a complete stranger. She's actually like, I found out later she's a Prophet Laurier that bought
right
this.
on.
Yeah, I know. Just the sweetest lady ever. But then yeah, Jane Bond, my stuff is up there right now for 2 months.
Wow.
As well. Yeah.
And any sales there yet, or just, it looks amazing, by the way.
Not yet. But the manager at Jane Bond was like, we might need to buy one of these pieces because it, like, total accident, but the colors match the space.
Oh, I thought that was intentional.
No, it wasn't. It was an accident. But I was like just feeling like blues and oranges, and we put it up, and I was like, well, this looks like it was made for Jane Bond. And like the manager was like, we might need to buy one of these off you because it just matches the space so well.
Well, hopefully by the time this airs, it's purchased and it's already there.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
How would you describe your work, or maybe I should even start further back. When did you really start to hone this style of your work?
I haven't been doing this for very long. I was like in school for science. So art really took a pause while I was like doing a science degree for 5 years. And then I graduated in 2018, but it was before my like last semester of school where I was like, I don't know if I like science, and I was having this like last minute crisis, and I started painting a lot. So it was like the break before my final semester, and that last semester was like the longest one ever because I was like, I knew I didn't want to do science, but I was like, I just want to be painting all the time.
Yeah.
But the style developed of just me. It was basically the month of December 2017, and I was just like, I locked myself in my apartment and painted like every day. And then at the end I had like a ton of shitty paintings, but also like, I think it was like 6 really good ones that I liked. And that was like my first collection. I would take it to places and kind of ask if they want to display it and stuff. And then it just kind of went on from there.
It really has went on from there.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know Trish or any of her work, it's probably because you haven't visited Kitchener and Waterloo. it's noticeable. It's in public spaces, it's in private institutions, and it's been very cool to see you just take over with your paintbrush.
Yeah.
Not take over in a, I don't know. I don't mean that in a negative way.
Yeah.
But you definitely, you came here and you said you wanted to do murals, and you've been doing murals. So all credit to you. When did you first come to Kitchener-Waterloo, or why are you in Kitchener-Waterloo? Because aren't you originally from the GTA?
Yeah, grew up in Mississauga, so I came here for that science degree. I came here for school in 2013, and then when I graduated 2018, I just like moved to Kitchener and decided I want to stick around because Mississauga to me is not very exciting. There's a lot more like public art and stuff around Kitchener. Waterloo is still a little behind in terms of that, but Kitchener, it's like the city has like so many tattoos. Like think of murals as tattoos for a city.
Right.
But yeah, Kitchener has so much street art compared to Waterloo and Mississauga. So I like wanted to stick around for that.
Well, we're glad to have you.
Yeah.
I think you've done a really good job establishing yourself here now, and I think you've also really found a place for yourself in terms of workshops and events you've been doing. Is that you deciding that you want to venture out in that area, or have you been approached to put on workshops?
It's more so like approached. It was one of the most like rewarding experiences.
Sure.
Just like I wouldn't consider myself like a teacher, so it was more of like a let me organize this kind of thing and like create a cool space to do this in. Because I really don't have any background in teaching. I didn't go to school for art myself, right? Who am I to start like teaching people? But yeah, usually it's an invite, or it's like people are like, oh, we have a group of kids that like really like your work. How can you get involved with them in some way? And so this was like the most creative way I could, and like interactive way I figured would be good to like get myself involved like that.
Right on.
But I do love doing it. So yeah,
it's cool to see where you're at now and where you were when we first started talking. Do you remember our first ever conversation on Instagram? Because I do.
Yes.
What was it?
It was it's so embarrassing.
No, it's not.
It was like I laugh at it now, but it was like you and Alice were doing Beyond the Gram.
Yeah.
And this was like my first attempt. I'd moved to Kitchener. I really didn't know anyone here. And because like all my friends from Waterloo had like graduated and moved on. So I was like, one, I'm going to move to Kitchener, and two, want to get into like the art scene. And I was like, where is it? I don't know who to contact. Yeah. So I like a week before Beyond the Gram, I had like a mutual friend who was like, do you want to come to this art show with me? And I was like, oh my God, that's exactly what I've been looking for. And I DM Vince a week before the show. Keep in mind, it's a show he's been working on for months and months. And it's been like lots of planning, and then I come in a week before and like have the audacity to be like, no, hey, can I be in your art show? I know it's next week, but I have all my stuff. And like looking back, I was like, oh shit, I'm such like an asshole for doing that. No,
I don't. I think you did anything that someone in your position would try and do.
Yeah.
I can't say I've done the same thing.
Yeah, try to squeeze in last minute.
Try to squeeze in, or because you feel like you actually have something to bring to the table. I'll be honest, no one else was hitting us up a week before and saying they wanted in.
Right.
No one else was hitting us up in general for that. It was kind of really close-knit, and then you found the pocket, and you're like, oh, I know who's doing it. I want to reach out. And honestly, I think you missed us by 5 or 6 days.
Yeah.
Because I think at the same time you asked, you might have lost your chance because Az had just thrown on me that he wanted to bring clothes, and I thought, dude, you're the DJ, why are you bringing clothes?
Right.
And now look at him, right?
Yeah.
That was his way of kind of getting in.
That's true.
And then you found your way in because we connected through that. I was like, okay, your stuff's cool. And then you were at Az's event.
Yeah.
And then what really kind of brought us back together, or at least our first collaborative effort, was when you were continuing with your work, and I saw you post that spray paint on a piece of plywood, that crazy big mural you did. One of your largest pieces at the time. That
was the biggest at the time. That was my first technically my first mural. So
what was that for? It's just a neighborhood or something?
It was the building I lived in. So I was living in this stupid tiny apartment at the time, and it was so small. It was 250 square feet. It was so small, and I didn't have space in there to paint sometimes. And I was working with a lot of spray paint at the time, so I would go into the parking lot of the building and do some work outside on canvas. And then my landlord, who also lived in the building, came out one day and saw me working on that and was like, oh, I didn't know you were an artist. Do you want to like paint this shed? So it's like still there. Yeah.
Really?
I passed by
is
it. It's at like Frederick and East Ave.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we were kind of like in that neighborhood earlier, but it's just like on the side of like my apartment building on this beat up shed. And he was like, yeah, I'll pay you for your supplies if you want to just like beautify this a little bit. And I was like, because like from a mural perspective, looking back, it was small, but I was coming from a canvas perspective, so it was massive for me, right? And I wanted to see if like the work translated to a bigger scale, and I was like super stoked when it did. But yeah.
It's funny to look at that step that you took to do a shed, because then I said, not to like credit myself, but then I said, oh, you do bigger things, do something at my event.
Yeah.
And then from there, it just seems like things just kept coming for you, right?
Well, it was the piece at Digital Glue that landed me my first corporate mural. I don't know if I've ever told you this story.
No, tell me.
Okay.
I'd love to hear. I remember it went shipped off to a dance company or something.
Yeah, it ended
Is that different?
No, it was the same. It ended up at a random dance studio in Toronto. They like
paid to come get it and stuff?
They got a U-Haul and came and like lifted it themselves and stuff. And I was like, wow, okay. But this piece was like on just like old like board that was in the space, and it was so like heavy that I had no choice but to paint it in this like venue for this event.
Yeah.
And I did not think at all about like what would happen to it after, because I was like, okay, it'll just like sit here, I guess. And then after the event was done, I was like, oh, it's kind of sad that we're just leaving this in here. So it was that piece that I like started reaching out to a bunch of like local businesses and like the museum and libraries and stuff. And I was like, hey, if anyone has the means to move this, it's yours. Like, I want to donate it. So one of the companies I reached out to like try to give that piece away, was like, oh, this piece is great, but we would love to have a meeting with you about like your work in another way. And that ended up being that mural for him and her.
Oh, that's the one we did together.
Yes.
And then we shot a video for that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna play that video. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
I told you. Get on it. Done. It's my time.
That was such a fun week when we filmed that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I really got to know you a little better too. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I was showing up every day getting little time lapses, but I was mostly kind of excited for you at the time because that was one of your bigger murals, or your first large one.
First like real corporate paying, like it was intense. Yeah.
And what I really noticed about you was that you weren't on the fence about taking this jump into pursuing art as a full-time career. You were very much saying like, okay, well, this mural, something about this cost, and it should hopefully get me by to the next one.
Yeah.
And you were figuring it out as you went, which is, I think, a very good thing to do.
There was some like in-between time where I was like out of school. So I got my degree because I was like one semester away from graduation. I was like, I need to finish this off because I've done this for so long. But I grabbed my degree and then I just like didn't look back. I was serving bartending at the time, and I just continued doing that part-time and painting when I wasn't working. And so I think I was serving bartending for a few months and doing some art stuff on the side. I started like posting stuff to Instagram, and then I would get a few commissions here and there for like smaller paintings. And then once I found that I was like getting more artwork and it was requiring more time, I would take like fewer shifts at the bar. And it ended up being like, I think it was like I realized November of 2018, I hadn't gone into work all month. And like I had just given away all my shifts because I was like, oh, I have this like, at the time, a big mural coming up, so I'm gonna like get a decent chunk of money for that, and that'll like pay the bills. And I was getting other work. So it was a point where I like realized I hadn't been into work for so long, and I was like, I don't even know if I know how to do this job anymore. And I just was like, this is an appropriate time to quit, I think. And then I quit. It was a terrifying day, but I was like, we're just going all in. And I started January 2019 doing this full time.
some help from the city if they want more
Right.
underground art scene stuff like that, let's go. Let's
Yeah.
make it happen. I'm down for it. I know you are too.
Yeah, for sure. I love that's like kind of where I started, and I loved like getting back to it at the Frisch's Fragrance event. It was so good.
Well, maybe we'll have another event sometime in the next little while.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just see. We'll go with the flow as you do.
Yep.
All right, let's get out of here. Bye. See you in 2 days.